thinking big picture, is this feeling like the little bit of the end of an era? And I don't even know what era it is, but we have the end of Brady. We have the end of Rodgers. Matt Ryan's a freaking zombie at this point.
Right.
Matt Stafford might be headed that way. And then Wilson, everybody is just buried alive. I don't even know what happened to him. And then Roethlisberger, I mailed you the passing leaders from 2016. And it was basically all those guys with Roethlisberger and Breeze. And now we have this new generation. But I never really thought of like the whole, this actually 2022 might be the end of something. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that you have two separate things going on, right? The change of like the aging cliff in old quarterbacks has been really interesting, right? Brian Burke for ESPN wrote a piece that apparently has lost the time. I couldn't find it, like the URL's dead and whatever, about how when quarterbacks age, they get a little bit worse, a little bit worse, a little bit worse, and it's generally fine. And then one year they're terrible. Right? It is important to understand aging in quarterbacks as a cliff. We don't really see gradual declines. And that explains what you've seen from guys like Brady and Rodgers over the last 5-6 years, right? There was that time where we were like, yeah, Rodgers is done. Like, it's clearly finished. Like, he's not the guy he was. And then all of a sudden he wins back-to-back MVPs. Brady's final season in New England, he's off. He's fallen off the cliff. It's done. He can't do what he did. And then he goes and he wins the Super Bowl with Tampa, right? Like you have these downturns, but generally it's more noise. It's variance until all of a sudden there's 1 year where everything collapses. Typically that aging cliff we've seen be in the mid to late 30s. That's not the rules anymore, right? Quarterbacks are able to play for longer. Certainly Brady's pushing that horizon, but also a guy like Rodgers looks like he might. Ryan is trying to at 38, but Ryan's falling off. They're trying to get into their late 30s and even into their 40s. So number one, you're seeing the aging cliff for quarterbacks, I think, start to move a little bit further down the line to get into later seasons. Some of that's being smart about taking hits, advancements in sports science, whatever. The other thing that ushers in a change of the guard at the quarterback position is when the young guys are really good. That's just by default, right? The alternatives are better. Number one, we're a lot better at getting young quarterbacks good. The whole, advancements in quarterback development have changed drastically to the point where you don't need to sit a guy for 3 Aaron Rodgers years to make sure he feels good. You can get him out there and you can start to produce. We have these offenses, right? Eagles with Jalen Hurts, Niners and Rams with Goff and Garoppolo, just kind of point and shoot a guy. You know what I'm saying? We can work around him. But then also, we hit on a few classes. And in the 2010s, we weren't hitting. We were not getting consistent, good quarterbacks out of the draft year over year. We'd have one guy here and one guy there, and Russell Wilson in the third round. We kind of, 2013 class was weird, but we didn't have years like we had with 2017, 2018, 2019, where Mahomes, Watson, certainly for his rookie contract, we haven't seen him yet kind of post his suspension and post his injury and his holdout. But Mahomes, Watson, 2018, Lamar, Allen, and then 2019, Burrow and Herbert, right? We didn't get that run of dudes. And once you get that run of guys, they start pushing the old dudes out just by virtue of how they play. The ceiling of quarterback play raises, and the mid-tier veterans feel like they're falling off.
And we lost Andrew Luck.
Yes.
Who should be like either in his prime or at his absolute peak or close to his peak.
He should be the bridge.
Now.
He should be the connection between the over 35s and the under 26s. He'd be the guy in the middle.
And we kind of lost Wilson, which is weird because I would have thought Wilson would have aged really well, but I don't know.
Why do you think so?
Because he was so, to me, it was like a Breeze thing, right? Breeze was smaller, but he was so accurate and he could move around a little bit. But as he got older, the accuracy stayed. And I just assumed it would be something like that, where it'd be like a short yardage passing offense, and he would just be able to 70% a year.
Right.
Veteran savvy. And that didn't happen.
It's such an important comparison for Russ specifically because Breeze is what he's trying to be now. Breeze is what he wants to be, right? Stephen Ruiz at The Ringer and I have the joke about Russ's performative checkdowns, where he's constantly like dumping the ball off to Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon and the running backs and the tight ends. And you watch the film, and downfield, KJ Hamler's like one-on-one with a step. And old Russ was throwing that ball. And for some reason, it's just underneath. And it's because I think he knows that physically, he can't be the scrambler he was. Physically, he's not the tackle breaker he was. You look at Russ's scramble numbers in terms of how many yards he picks up, how often he gets a first down, and also his sack avoidance numbers. The percentage of pressures that Russ takes that turn into a sack have catapulted it, skyrocketed over the last 2 or 3 seasons. So as the athleticism goes down, he knows that if he's going to have a late career renaissance, if he's going to be good in his 30s, it will be in the Breeze model. Yes, I'm short, but I'm accurate. The ball's out quick and I'm distributing. He just has never, ever been that quarterback previously. Previously, he was run around, scramble, hold the ball for 5 seconds, deep moonshot. And he doesn't physically feel like he can do that anymore. So we're watching a quarterback try to change his play style, which is literally a tiger changing his stripes. It doesn't happen. And that's what Russ is trying to do, square peg in a round hole in Denver. And that's why you're experiencing such discontent and such toughness in this offense right now. Russ is trying to play a brand of football he's never played before.
It's funny that Brady belongs to basically two different generations, right? Because he's definitely in this Rodgers, Wilson, Ryan, that whole generation, which was the 2010s class, basically. But he was also in that previous generation with Peyton Manning and Rivers and all those guys, too. And you talked about how there was a little bit of a drought, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go back to 06, where it was just first rounders. Vince Young, Leinart, Cutler. And that was supposed to be, you were only 2 years old that year. That was supposed to be an awesome QB draft.
Yes.
We were like, wow, 3 stars coming in. Well,
this is when everybody was West Coast offense pilled, right? We all watched Manning and Brady and Breeze and Rivers, and we said, this is what offense is going to be forever. 5 in the concept, short passing game. Let's all just get a tall white who looks nice in the pocket and is smart on the chalkboard. And it turns out there's like one of those every 3 years, and you can't build the house around that. And so that's why you see all these first round picks busted out.
Cutler kind of made it. I mean, he did get traded for 2 first-round picks at some point. He had a decent career. He wasn't a bust. The other two were busts. The next year, 07, Jamarcus Russell, Brady Quinn. The next year, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, which counts as like an absolute boon compared to some of these other names. 09, Stafford, Sanchez, Josh Freeman, all in the top 17. 2010, Sam Bradford, Tebow, crossed that year off. 2011, Cam Newton, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, all in the top 12. So Cam makes it. We go 1 for 4. In 12, there's another QB year. Luck, Griffin, Tannehill, Whedon.
Yeah, and
so
that's the Foles Russ year, if memory serves, as well. So that was the year where like the third round just randomly hit.
Right. But even that after 2012, it was like Luck and Griffin. This is great. These guys are really good. And Griffin's out of the league pretty shortly after.
The only one still starting is Tannehill.
Yeah.
Out of that whole round 1.
2013
from Texas A&M. Incredible.
2013 ZJ Manuel. 14 is Bortles, Manziel, and Bridgewater.
2013 and also has Geno. Don't you forget. Round 2 stud, Geno Smith.
Yeah, I'm just giving you the round ones. 15 was Winston and Mariota. And then 16 was Goff, Wentz, and Lynch. So when you talk about like a drought, it's actually kind of impossible that we had 11 years there in a row with how few franchise guys we got out of that. And then probably the best guy I listed out of all those dudes was Andrew Luck, who retires when he's 27, 28. So then this happens in the NBA sometimes where the NBA kind of ebbs and flows depending on, drafts. And we're in this draft boom right now where year after year, we've just had these awesome drafts from like 2017 on. And now the league, you can really feel it. There's all these all-stars and franchise guys. But then there was other stretches where we didn't have it. And I think with the NFL, it does feel like this is a new quarterback era, starting with that 17 draft, where we're just going to be like, wow, look at all those dudes we got. This is amazing. We got like 10 guys who can run a team versus that before. So anyway, I think that's why it feels like an end of a generation, but there's no next generation that I guess Luck and Wilson would have been leading, and didn't happen.
No. And the final important note on that 2017 turn is that you saw a lot of the players that get selected from 2017 on get selected to AFC teams. And the reason we saw that was because they knew the Brady dusk was coming. They knew that Brady was either going to retire or just leave New England in some way, right? The rumors were starting. He was reaching that age. And so there became you go back and you look at who was making the AFC championship games, right? Over like 2004 to 2017. Brady, Roethlisberger, Brady, Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, Manning. There was just this top cap on the AFC where nobody could get past this unit of quarterbacks. And Roethlisberger's fallen off, Manning's out of the league, and we see the Brady fall off coming. And all of a sudden, Miami's on Tua, the Chargers are on Herbert, Cincinnati's on Burrow, the Ravens are on Lamar, the Bills are on Allen, and then that's just the good ones. Like the Browns went for Baker, the Jets went for Sam, right? Everybody is going for a young quarterback, ready to develop that guy. They've put new resources in. They have new knowledge of how do we get a young quarterback to be better, because everybody wants to be positioned for the moment the Brady hammer drops. We have our young guy. We're on a rookie contract. Let's go. And so a big part of the drought ending was half of the league, the AFC, deciding, okay, we are going to figure out how to develop a rookie quarterback, how to get him on the field and win with him. Because if we can get a rookie contract quarterback ready and we have the advantage of the extra money and he's contending, he's successful, the moment Brady leaves, we can finally shoot. We can finally go and actually push here in the AFC and get back on top when this guy's just been sitting there for so long.